Excerpt from the Friendship Manual, The Rules of Venting, Vent verb, give free expression to a strong emotion. He had come to vent his rage and despair. When you are the party that needs to vent, you have to let the other party know this a venting session and not a normal conversation. You also have to ask them if it's okay to vent to them, or you might just find yourself in a shouting match. Not everyone can read you or ascertain during your onslaught that your anger isn't directed at them. People need a heads up before you unleash your fury. You should also establish ground rules for your venting sessions ahead of time so neither party is caught off guard. Rules for venting are pointless if you are the only one that knows them. Although you may not be able to do anything about it or be able to help, you are still there to tell them that everything will be okay and that you are always there for them. If you are the person being vented to or the ventee, you are not allowed to correct them or impose your thoughts, no matter how senseless they may sound or hate-filled their words may become. They need to hear their own emotions in words of their choosing out loud, the need to let their pent-up emotions spew out of their mouths until their sanity returns. Once they are done venting, 9 times out of 10, they will self-correct. People know right from wrong, but while they are venting, you need to give them the freedom to be as ridiculous as they want to be. Once the anger and rage subsides, they will return to their right mind. The object is to allow them to blow off some steam. Eventually, all of the craziness will end. Be patient. Most often, their thoughts will be chaotic, and they may bounce from one subject to another, because they are like a volcano that needs to erupt. They are about to blow. Your job is to help direct the lava stream away from innocent civilians and limit the destruction, which might otherwise ensue if you were not there to listen. Don't try to play therapist. Let them proceed at their own pace. If you have to help them find a word they're struggling to get out, express their meaning. That's fine, but shut up as soon as you give them the word they are looking for, so they can continue to get things off their chest. Eventually, the emotions will subside. But if you try to use your counseling skills or try to show off your problem-solving skills, you're only going to frustrate that individual. They are not looking for a solution. Most often, they already know what they need to do. They just need to get their emotions out and back under control so they can think rationally. Venting satisfies an emotional need to give voice to their frustrations. Once this is done, they can think rationally and more often than not solve their own problems. They don't need you to solve their problems. They simply need someone to listen and not judge them or interrupt them. Don't try to get them to explain anything to you. Just clamp it and listen. This person is a bomb that is about to explode. This is not the time to show off your mental acumen. This isn't the time for your jokes or your stories. Every so often people will ask you questions. Most often they are simply rhetorical. If they repeat the question, be concise with your answer. Don't go into deep explanation unless they ask you to do so. Sometimes the question will only require a yes or no answer. If they lapse into silence after you have answered their question, ask them if they are still venting. If they are done venting, they will let you know and a normal conversation will ensue. If they are not done venting, shut up and let the tirade continue. When you are the venter, your ventee should be someone you trust, that is emotionally centered. They must also be someone who knows you well enough to see past your anger, not feed into it. This person must be able to discern the root of your problem. This person must also have a calming effect on you, meaning you can actually feel the weight of your emotions lifting the more you vent. There is nothing worse than venting to someone, and you are more frustrated than when you began. Think of them as a sponge. They soak up your rage and dispel your emotions. If you can feel your emotions bouncing off of them and coming back to you, yes, they are listening, but in your gut, you can tell they don't really care. Stop. Since there is no actual definition of vent master, here is mine, a person that has the ability to vent out loud to themselves and still have the same results of having vented to someone else. This person must also have a calming effect on themselves as well as others. This individual has learned well over the years and knows how to listen. They can pick up on the slightest hesitations and groans. Mumbling is your heart and mind allowing you a way to express yourself without being fully heard, and will soon result in an uncontrollable outburst of rage and frustration.